Man has been experimenting with different objects and discovering new concepts since the start of time. These experiments led to inventions that literally changed the way we live, the way we function, the way we work. They changed the world. This is according to science, and today we are going to tell you about the top 10 inventions that changed the world. Number 10. James Watt's copier. James Watt is mostly known for one thing, the steam engine. However, his achievements are not limited to just a steam engine. As one of the people who kicked off the Industrial Revolution, James Watt spent most of his life inventing. Like any other inventor, Watt too spent most of his life in debt, struggling to find new financiers as he was looked down upon by a lot of investors. Thanks to Watt, these businessmen became rich and made life easy after the invention of the copier machine. Copying documents was simple. The papers were to be pressed onto a thin strip of paper, creating a reversed copy from the back. It was small, simple, and portable, and evolved into the modern photocopiers we use today. The copier was a success, selling over 600 units in the first year that marked a turning point in Watt's professional life, as he finally started making money from his work. Number 9. Light bulb. Thomas Edison, a man of many wonders, invented what we know as the light bulb today, back in 1879. However, as important as the invention itself is, giving credit to the right inventor is equally important. Most of us believe that Thomas Edison was the inventor of the light bulb, but even before him, the English chemist Humphrey Davy initiated the idea of light first. He introduced the idea of flowing electric current through wires with enough resistance to heat up and produce light. However, finding the right material for the wire to stay lit for long periods was a problem, and that is when Thomas Edison came into the picture. He invented a carbon filament light bulb. That became known as the first light bulb ever and changed the world with its bright light. Number 8. Airplane. Gone are the times when one would have to travel for days to reach his or her destination. Today, visiting any corner of the world is just a matter of a couple of hours, thanks to the invention of the airplane. Invented by the Wright brothers, Orville and Wilbur, back on December 17, 1903. Even though the first few flights didn't last long, they soon got hold of a stable flight and made their invention official. The first airplane had 3 main controls: roll, pitch, and yaw. At first, they could only fly in a straight line for less than a minute, but by the end of 1905, they were able to fly over Huffman Prairie, staying aloft for over half an hour, or until their fuel ran out. The 1905 Wright Flyer was the world's first practical airplane. Number 7. The compass. Before this invention, mariners navigated their course by the stars, but that method was highly unreliable as it was not valid during the day or on cloudy nights, making it unsafe to voyage far from land. However, life was saved by the Chinese for inventing the first compass sometime between the 9th and 11th centuries. Lodestone was used as the primary material to make the first compass. Lodestone, a naturally magnetic iron ore, was under constant study regarding its attractive properties and ways in which it could serve the purpose. Soon after, the technology passed to Europeans and Arabs through nautical contact. The compass enabled mariners to navigate safely far from land, increasing sea trade and contributing to the age of discovery. Number 6. Vaccines. Vaccines came as a blessing to mankind, making life longer and safer. Before introducing vaccines, there were little or no cures to illnesses that might seem too minimal today, such as the flu. One of the most famous and first vaccines ever invented, penicillin, was officially introduced to the world by the Scottish scientist named Alexander Fleming in 1944. The discovery was purely accidental, as Fleming noticed a bacteria-filled petri dish in his laboratory with its lid left open accidentally. Soon the sample became contaminated with mold that killed the bacteria wherever it was present. The antibiotic mold was studied, and it was established that it was from the fungus Penicillium. Over the next 2 decades, chemists studied the subject, purified it, and developed the drug penicillin, which fights a great number of bacterial infections in humans without harming the humans themselves today. Number 5. The wheel. Wheels have made our lives so much simpler in multiple ways. Before the invention of the wheel in 3500 BC, the transportation of materials over long distances of land was highly limited, making things more difficult for humans. Shaping a stone in a circle wasn't the most difficult part of the invention itself. The tricky part came when it was time to connect a non-moving platform to that rolling cylinder. One had to be pretty accurate when placing the wheels under a platform. The holes at the center of the wheels and at the end of the fixed axles had to be nearly perfectly round and smooth. The size of the axle was another critical factor, as was the diameter of the hole, making sure it was not too tight nor too loose. Number 4. Contraceptives. As much as reproducing is important, considering the world population is equally important. There are always multiple factors to avoid having a child, and the introduction of contraceptives not only changed the world but made life a lot easier for women. With fewer individuals to feed, modern families managed to achieve higher standards of living, and the common man could easily provide better for each child. Meanwhile, on a global scale, contraceptives are playing a huge role in helping the population gradually level off. It is expected to stabilize by the end of the century. Certain contraceptives, such as condoms, also stop the spread of sexually transmitted diseases that can be both curable and incurable. Number 3. Telephone. Though several inventors worked on electronic voice transmission, Alexander Graham Bell was the first to be awarded as the inventor of the electric telephone in 1876. However, there is an ongoing debate between who is the actual inventor of the telephone. Both Alexander Graham and Elisha Gray submitted independent patent applications concerning their ideas to the Patent Office in Washington on February 14, 1876. However, the first sample of a telephone was presented by Bell before a huge audience at the World Exhibition in Philadelphia in June 1876, after which his telephone got famous worldwide. The invention quickly took off and revolutionized global business and communication. He got his inspiration from his deaf mother and taught the deaf. He called the first telephone an electrical speech machine. When Bell died on August 2, 1922, according to PBS, U.S. telephone service stopped for a minute to honor him. Number 2. Daguerreotype. Imagine life without any pictures. The idea seems impossible thanks to the invention of daguerreotypes. The first ever successful photograph, the daguerreotype, was invented by a man named Louis-Jacques Monde Daguerre and Nicéphore Niepce back in the 1830s. The first attempt by Niepce to develop a photograph required 8 hours of exposure time, while Daguerre's needed only 20 or 30 minutes. Now, with advancements in technology, taking photos of anything we want instantly is just a matter of a click. Number 1. The Internet. One of the biggest blessings of all times, the Internet needs no introduction as the global system of interconnected computer networks known as the Internet is used by billions of people worldwide. Even though the entire credit can't be given to any single individual as countless people helped develop it, the person most often credited with its invention is the computer scientist Lawrence Roberts. The internet wasn't invented for everyone initially. Back in the 1960s, a team of computer scientists working for the U.S. Defense Department's ARPA, or Advanced Research Projects Agency, built a communications network to connect the computers in the agency called ARPANET. It used a method of data transmission called packet switching, which Roberts, a member of the team, developed based on prior work of other computer scientists. However, soon it became accessible to everyone and is one of the most used media of communications amongst people. These were the top 10 inventions that changed the world, and if you enjoyed the video, then don't forget to hit the like button, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe to our channel.